It's your host, Ellie Marie, coming to talk about some topics. That's how we're starting the episode. Hello! Welcome and good morning. It may not be morning for you, but it is morning here. I actually just woke up maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. My internal alarm clock woke me up. I set an alarm for 7 o'clock this morning, and my internal alarm clock woke me up around 6:45, and I woke up and I was like, okay, the sun is up a little bit. I was like, did I sleep past my alarm? Is it not 7 o'clock yet? And I look out and it's like sunrisey colors. Like the sun was rising, but like it wasn't just rising. Like the sky was still like orangish, pinkish. So I concluded it probably isn't 7 yet, but it's probably close. And I checked my phone and it was like 6:43. I was like, oh, okay. It's my internal alarm clock. Because I generally wake up for work at 4:15. And one day of the week, I wake up for work at 3:15. Oh, it's so fun. But yeah, so my internal alarm clock woke me up. Didn't even have to set an alarm, but I wanted to make sure I didn't oversleep. Keeping my body on a consistent sleep schedule helps. It helps me feel better. So even though I did not wake up at 4 o'clock this morning, I do allow myself to sleep in a little bit on my days off. I still do wake up early enough so my body is like, okay, yeah, this is kind of normal for us. So I'm not throwing my rhythm for a loop. Anyway, good morning and welcome back to the Bedside Table, episode 15. Episode 15, kind of crazy. I'm really behind on a lot of stuff. I'm really behind on clips for the show. If you follow my socials, which they're always posted in the description, if you're not following my socials, feel free to. Please do. I post like behind the scenes stuff about the podcast and then just my creator account. If you want to just like follow me in general, I post about my life and that fun stuff. My life, fun stuff. I have a weird energy this morning because if you watched my last episode or listened to my last episode, I talked about being really reluctant to record, and I'm kind of still in that zone of reluctance, and I'm kind of curious about it. I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling reluctant to do this, why I'm feeling reluctant to create, and I'm not really sure. I'm just keeping myself open-minded and curious about it, because obviously I can sit down and record an episode and have fun with it and enjoy it. So it's like, where's this reluctance coming from? Would I rather be doing something else? Well, it depends. I guess kind of. Sometimes, like, if I could have got up this morning and just got on my computer, because I've been playing this game. Maybe some of you know it, maybe some of you don't. It's called RimWorld. It's a little colony builder game. It's really fun because of its simplicity. And I have my own little colony on there, and we're kind of thriving. And it's been really fun, like, checking in on them every day, and, like, building stuff and keeping them alive. And I just researched prosthetics, so I was able to give one of my colony members a prosthetic leg because she's been lugging around on just one leg. And so I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with that game right now. And it's one of the games that my husband and I usually play together because there's a multiplayer mod for it. We usually play together, but we've been playing our own colonies and it's been really fun. This is the first colony I've really like kind of built on my own. And I'm talking way too much about RimWorld, but it's really fun. So I had the thought of like waking up this morning and I was like, I could get on my computer and play RimWorld today. But I also had the thought of like, we could catch up on like recording our episodes and like our marketing and doing our clips. And that is important to me too. So I think I'm just kind of struggling with the balance of like leisure time, and because I have less of it because of my job right now. And I've talked about that already. I work 45 hours a week, which isn't crazy, but it's enough to have less time to yourself, obviously. So, yeah. So I think I'm just struggling with balancing that, and pretty sure that's why I thought the topic of productivity would be a good thing to talk about. But I want to talk about productivity in a sense of like, how do you stay productive within your life? Like I'm asking the audience, what is your means of staying productive? Because I know I'm not the only one out here who has a busy life or who has certain priorities that sometimes take me away from the things that I am trying to build and create. So, there's a kitty outside. Ooh, Dorothy's going potty right now, so she's not going to freak out because she's not at the window. But, if I could bring in all the stray cats and just give them a home, I would. But my cat is she's a one cat okay, she went a little wild after going potty. She does that sometimes. She'll go potty and then she'll like run away from it. I'm like, oh, was it a stinky one? Okay. Oh, she's got the zoomies. I'm currently in the process of doing laundry, so I have just like a couple of laundry piles on the floor because I started it yesterday and I haven't finished it yet, but I will. But the key word and the thing to recognize is that I did start it yesterday when I wasn't going to do it at all. So progress and accomplishment. But okay. Back on topic here. Yeah. So productivity. So that means that you stay productive within your life while you also have other priorities. So I think maybe I'm talking about productivity. I'm talking about productivity in the sense of, so we're not talking about like career-driven productivity, though that's fabulous and great. And if you have insight from being productive in your career that can apply to other areas of your life, please share. Please feel free to share. But I think I'm thinking more of productivity in the sense of like creative project productivity. So kind of like this. So like my podcast and just anything that's creatively driven, if that makes sense. So yeah, anything that we're doing on the side outside of our jobs. So that, and then also productivity and just like I don't really want to say, it's not self-development. It would just be like self-maintenance. So productivity and self-maintenance in the sense of like, how are you taking care of yourself on a consistent basis? What does that look like? So to explain it for myself, I've done quite a few different things to keep myself productive over the past few years, or I've tried quite a few different things to try and stay productive over the past few years. That sounds, yes, that's much more accurate to how my journey has gone. I've tried things to try and stay productive, and some things have worked better than others, and I've gone into a bit more detail about this in one of my previous episodes about how I've like scheduled my days and what has worked for me, what really hasn't worked for me. I find that being on a more like rigid and stricter schedule doesn't really work for me because like I like having wiggle room. I like to be able to allow myself the space and the room to just like, if I don't necessarily feel like doing this thing today, even though I wrote it down on my to-do list, but I kind of have this feeling, like I kind of feel motivated to do this other thing that I didn't write down on my to-do list, but it's also something that's good for me or productive or whatever, then I like to allow myself that flexibility to be like, okay, maybe we don't do that thing, or maybe we do it differently, or maybe we partly do it. Maybe we start on it. So, and then maybe we make room for this other thing today. And then we come back and circle around and see if we feel like doing the thing that we didn't do or the thing that we replaced doing. I feel like that was a lot of nonsense. But so I've tried several things over the years. And so I've kind of learned for myself what does help, what helps keep me productive, what helps me stick to a routine better, and what routine really works best. I'm still in the process of learning this because, like I said, I'm coming on here saying like I'm kind of struggling. I'm kind of struggling with this balance of staying productive creatively while also being able to have a little bit of leisure time, and while also maintaining myself, like, you know, my physical health and my mental health and all of the things. Yeah, all of the things. Life, basically. Life. I'm struggling with life right now. And I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, can relate to struggling with life. Oh, so I'm just going to take a quick breather here and talk about what I'm currently doing. So what I'm currently trying for productivity, it's called the Ivy Lee method. And I learned about the Ivy Lee method from this website called Wisey. I took this little test while I was at work, this little quiz, and it's for ADHD. I'm not sure if I have ADHD or not, but it said I had a pretty like high ADHD tendencies, and it's possible. It's not like I got diagnosed or anything, and it's not like I'm trying to say that I had ADHD, but like I just took this little ADHD quiz at work, and then it recommended a little 1 month thing of like videos and like how often I can watch. Anyway, I'm getting into the things that don't really matter. But yeah, so I took this little quiz from Wisey, and then it was a slight impulsive buy because I first I declined, and then they offered me a discount. They got me is what they did. But yeah, I was like, it's a small amount of money, and I'll probably learn something from it. Even if I don't have ADHD, it says that I have high tendencies for ADHD, so maybe I do, maybe I don't. But even if I don't, it's like I'm sure I'll learn something, and I'm sure I'll benefit from it anyway. And lo and behold, I did learn about this method. I'm sure I didn't have to pay to learn about it, but I don't know how else I would have kind of organically learned about it, because I wasn't really trying to search up like, oh, productivity methods. It just, yeah. So I learned about my brain is a little bit everywhere this morning. I'm sorry. I'm staying on track though. Promise. Yeah, so I learned about this productivity method through this little thing that I bought. And it's called the Ivy Lee method. And some of you may know about it. And if you don't know about it, I'll tell you what it is. The Ivy Lee method, there are 4 rules. So you write down 6 things. 6 important things that you need to do in the day. And you do not go on to the next thing until you've completed the previous thing. Sorry, if you're watching, I'm like messing with my ear. Whenever I put earrings in, usually they like wear fine, like my earlobes wear the earrings fine, but then afterwards they'll get like little crusties sometimes. And there was a moment in time not too long ago, like my ear holes for the earrings just like kept getting infected, and I was just like, okay. It's like, okay, and usually if I just stop wearing earrings for long enough, it'll clear up and go away. But yeah, little tidbit about my earlobe health. You're welcome, I guess. But okay, so yeah, the rules of the Ivy Lee method. You write down 6 important tasks that you need to get done for the day, and you write them down by most important to least important. So the first thing you want to prioritize is the first thing on your list. It's basically kind of oh my God. Oh, that cat ran by. The cat that I was telling you about earlier, it had something in its mouth. I don't know if it got like a, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't know if it just like went hunting, if it had like a toy. I didn't get a good look at it. I just saw it run by and Dorothy like jumped up on her little perch. Oh my gosh. I almost like crawled over there to the window to see. But I'm recording a podcast episode, so. Cute. Oh my gosh. Why is it when things are running with things in their mouth, it's adorable. Even if it had like a mouse or something, or like it would still be cute to me. It doesn't even have to be a cat. Just like there are, we have stray dogs outside of my job that come around and like, cause sometimes, and it's the same stray dogs, so, because they know that they can sometimes get food from the dumpsters. And there was it's this little, like, really dirty white little dog. And I'm like, I would totally just go clean that dog up and keep it. And then there's this other little little dog. It's like black and white, very short fur, super cute, kind of like Chihuahua-ish. It might be a Chihuahua, but it looks a little bigger than a Chihuahua. That one comes around. But the other day, the white mutt dog with like the longer, dirtier hair or fur had gone over to the dumpster and like got one of our bags for our food that was in the dumpster, like grabbed it and like ran away with it. And I just like said over the headset, I was like, oh my God, the dog, it's got something. I don't think he ended up finding anything in that bag, but eventually he found like some French fries. So okay, productivity. It's the morning, and this is what my brain does. Like, my brain is waking up, and my brain is like, there's so many things to think about. It's a new day. It's a new day. Yeah, woohoo. Look at that, and look at this, and the cat that just ran by, and oh my gosh, the sunlight, and wow, we're warm, and the fan is on, and my candles are still lit, and like, my brain just thinks about all of these things all the time. Is that ADHD? Is this the high tendencies of ADHD? I don't know. I really thought about it being a possibility, but I don't know enough about ADHD. I know it's attention deficit. I don't even know the whole thing. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I don't think that's right. It could be. I don't know. But maybe it's worth looking into, because I've been thinking about getting back into therapy. I've been really considering getting back into therapy. Just haven't had the money right now, because I also have financial priorities. Like it's so funny. Like, I'm talking about productivity, but it's just like what's coming up for me right now is just like priorities. My priorities, that's what I'm really struggling with, is like prioritization. And I'm not struggling with the sense of like, I don't know what my priorities are. I'm struggling with the sense of just like, I do know what my priorities are, but it's hard to order them day to day. It seems like day to day it changes, because like on my day off, my highest priority isn't necessarily, on my day off, my top priority is going to be different than if I'm working. Because if I'm working, my priorities are like, make sure you get some kind of activity in outside. Like, so like yesterday I came home and I was going to sleep. I was going to take a nap because I was tired all day at work. And I do get enough sleep most of the time. I try to have a pretty consistent sleep schedule, like I was talking about at the beginning of this episode. I really do stay on top of being consistent with sleep, because it helps me feel better. It just keeps my body feeling good and on track. So, but yeah, I came home yesterday. Oh my God, I'm sorry, my nose. Sorry, my nose, it's all the mucus in the morning too. Ugh. But I came home yesterday and I was going to take a nap, and I almost convinced myself. I was on the drive home. I was just like, I'm going for a jog today. I even told a couple of people at work, yeah, I've got to go for a jog today. I'm going to run today. Trying to get it in my brain of like, we are doing this today. So like on the drive home from work, I'm like, yes, we're just going to get it done. As soon as we get home, we're going to do it, because if we don't do it as soon as we get home, we're not going to do it at all. So just do it as soon as you get home. Just get it out of the way, get it done with. Even if you run not even the full 25 minutes, just 15 minutes, anything's better than nothing. I was really just trying to keep my brain like actively engaged and focused on the concept of, we are running today. Yes, we are. So, and then as soon as I walk in the door, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to rest instead. I think that's what I need. I think I need a nap because I walk in and I start yawning and I get really tired because my bed's right here and I'm like, okay, I think I'm just going to go to sleep. I think that's what my body needs. And my brain's sitting over here trying to convince me like, yeah, we can just lay. And I could have laid down and took a nap and went to sleep for sure. Because I was tired that day and it was a slower day at work. So that made it even more just like, sluggish. And so I did feel kind of sluggish all day, which is kind of a good indicator that your body does need to move and do something. Even though I was on my feet for like 9 hours, that's technically not the same thing as just like invigorating and moving your body in a way that feels good. Being on your feet for that long, yes, it will be tiresome, but anyway. So yeah, I came home and I was like, I think I'm just gonna nap. And you know what changed my mind? It's so funny. What changed my mind is my cat had gotten into my chicken biscuit crackers. She had gotten into the chicken biscuit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to vacuum up these crumbs because I'm not going to sit there. Because sometimes if it's just a little bit, I'll just sit there. I'll crouch down and just like pick up all the crumbs myself. But I was like, okay, no. She had a little chicken biscuit feast. So I vacuumed it. And my brain goes, if you have the energy to vacuum right now, you have the energy to go for a little jog. I was like, shit. You're right. So I just kind of convinced myself again to just go do the thing. Because I had done a slightly, I wouldn't even necessarily call it strenuous. I had just done something that took slight energy to do. And I was like, oh, yep, you've still got some energy in the energy bank. Get out there and do that run. I'm so sorry about my sniffles, but yeah, so I went and did it. So I told that story because it's, like I said, my priorities are different than, they're kind of just like changing, and they don't change very much day to day, but I think that's what I'm kind of trying to adjust to, is that my priorities are not going to necessarily look the same every day. So I can't really stick to just like, and I've struggled with sticking to something like that in the past too, of like, at this time we do this and at this time we do this. It's like my days don't look like that every single day. Sometimes I'm working and after work I may feel a particular way. And so if I've written down like 4 p.m. make dinner, what if I get home from work and I'm not really feeling like eating right away? Then what am I going to fill that 4 o'clock slot with? You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like that. That's what I've been, I wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I've been struggling with, is just the changing of my priorities day to day and adjusting to that and like figuring that out within myself of just like, okay, I'm not going to be able to stick to necessarily a completely, sorry, my nose is bothering me so bad. I'll be right back. I got to blow my nose.
You got me feeling a vibe. You got me feeling a vibe. Like how could I not think of you? You got me feeling a vibe. You got me feeling a vibe.
I've just been adjusting to the fact that my days are going to look different, and I'm going to be adjusting to prioritizing things kind of differently each day, which is fine. It's just taking some adjusting. So yeah, I'm trying out this new productivity method called, all of that to circle back and say, I'm trying out this new productivity method called the Ivy Lee method. And I don't even think Dorothy, she just like pulled out a chunk of her fur. Oh my gosh. Monkey. Okay. She coughed up at me. Yeah, you just ate a chunk of your fur. Stinkers. Anyway, so I'm trying this productivity method called the Ivy Lee method. And I don't even think I finished explaining it because I got distracted by several different things. Or my brain just went in several different directions. You write down 6 things from the thing you want to prioritize the most to the thing you want to prioritize the least. You do not go on to the next thing until you finish the previous one. And then, excuse me, anything that you do not finish that you have written down, those will go at the top of your list for the next day. And I'm on my second day of trying this method. In the Wisey courses or the Wisey videos, it says to try it for a week. So I'm going to try it for a week. So I'm on day 2, or is this day 3? I think today is day 3. The first day, I think I did like one thing. And I think I like went out of order too. I was like, oh, I did that. Oh, and I did this thing. So I didn't even necessarily follow the guidelines for the first day. And then the second day, yesterday, I really did try to follow the guidelines because from the first day I learned like, okay, so maybe if I do this thing before this thing, like maybe that's better, a better flow of like what I'll stick with. So the second day I kind of revised it and it was like, okay, then I'll do this first and then this first. And then today I haven't written out my list yet because I woke up and was like, we're going to record. So here I am and we're recording and it's a little bit all over the place, but I kind of feel like my old self on the pod again. It's funny because I skipped a week because life was busy. And then that kind of threw me off a bit. And then when I came back to it, it was like, I have this reluctance. I don't even know what to talk about. And now I wake up right in the morning and it's like, let's record, sit down, record. And now I just feel like, yeah, I think the change from like being where I was for the first set of episodes and then being here, I think that's also an adjustment for me. It's just kind of funny to me, like how such small changes can take kind of a lot of adjusting. Yeah. Okay. That was my little tidbit on prioritization, productivity, and ADHD.
Like how could I not think of you? You got me feeling some type of way from the sunsets to early days, and I can't seem to keep my mind off of you. It comes and it goes, but it's never gone. How can I go on without you?
I think I've talked about this probably, or I've at least mentioned this in previous episodes, but I used to be a Twitch streamer, and I used to be, more specifically, I used to be a Roblox streamer. And so, as you can imagine, and I say as you can imagine, I guess I need to give a little more context. So I was a Roblox streamer, and I was a small streamer, but I was pretty popular. The best streams that I would do, for a while it consistently stayed between like 40 to 60 people. And, which is, I look back and I think like, that's really good for a small streamer. And I was growing pretty quickly, and I was growing like every day. And I got up to like almost 5,000 followers before I was like, okay, I can't do this. But it was a very high energy stream. And the streams would last, typically, when I was really, like, putting my energy into it, typically my streams would last 4.5 to 6 hours, which isn't too bad. But for a high-energy stream, which, if you can imagine, for, like, Roblox, most of my viewers were children. I had a couple of adult viewers, but most of my viewers were between the ages of, like, 10 and 17. So I had a lot of preteen viewers and a lot of children in my chat room, in my audience. And so I brought a certain energy to that of like keeping them engaged, and they themselves were already high energy because they're kids, and kids are already high energy, and like they're having fun and we're playing these games together. So that's even more of a fun thing because it's like I have someone to play with, and they're also playing with like all these other kids that are also in the stream and like in my chat. We're all playing together. So it was just like this big old ball of energy. And that was my stream. It was a lot of fun. It was high energy. entertainment, very quick, and just like, because I would play like one Roblox game, it would be like I had a 15-minute timer set. So it'd be quick. It'd be like 15 minutes on this game, and then we move along, and it's like 15 minutes per game. Different kids are picking different games. So I had a nice system, and it was a lot of fun, but I had to be like on for that 4 to 6 hours and entertaining, and like, even in a chat room, even virtually, kids are still like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look at look what I found. Look at that. Yes. So it was a lot of like, my attention was very pulled in so many different directions all at once. And so that's what I'm saying is like 40 to 60 people may not seem like a whole lot for a stream, but for that kind of stream, 40 to 60 different children pulling your attention and keeping you on your toes, like, it was very, now that I like say it out loud and like put it all out like that, it was like, yeah, that was very, very likely that it was going to lead to burnout, which it did. I think I successfully did those kinds of streams for like 7 months, and then I was just like, I just can't. I'm like, I don't have the energy for this anymore. Like, there were a couple of streams where I would just stop streaming. Like, I would be done and I would just like be so frustrated. Like, I had just given all of my energy out, and then I would just be drained, and then I'd be like, I don't have like no tolerance for anything else in my real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd have no tolerance to like conversate with anyone, and like, don't even talk about anything right now because I can't deal with it. And like, there were times that I would just like cry because I'm just like, I can't do this, you know. It was just, and I'm not trying to say that the entire reason that I felt that way is because I was burnt out from my stream, but it took a lot. It took a lot to maintain that level of entertainment, to maintain that level of like energy. And but I mean, it was a lot of fun. I will say that. It was a lot of fun. And I think where I went wrong is I not only tried to implement too many ideas, because I got a lot of ideas and a lot of feedback from everyone. And that was kind of back in a period where I was still learning about myself as a people pleaser, and I hadn't really learned how to set boundaries for myself and my own energy. So it was just like, I was very much like, oh yeah, we can do that and we can do this. So we ended up doing not only Roblox streams, we did karaoke streams where kids would come into the Discord and sing on stream. We did karaoke streams. And then we also, for a time, did quote unquote therapy streams, which is where, yes, it's what it sounds like. It was less therapy streams. It was more just like venting streams, which I look back on that now and I'm like, that's crazy that we did that, because I just had a whole room of kids coming in and like venting out everything that they were going through. And I was expecting to be able to like walk away from that okay. And it's just like the things that people go through, and more specifically the things that children go through, is just like so heartbreaking. And it was so much for my heart to just, and we did that weekly. So my energy was in a lot of different places, and like I said, I was trying to implement too many ideas and please too much of my audience. And it's not to say that like this is not my viewers' fault. This is not my chat's fault. Not at all. This is something I took upon myself. But I will say, burning out like that in those kinds of ways helped me learn more about me. It helped me, it helped navigate me toward my own authenticity. It helped navigate me toward what I know I can handle, like my limits. It helped make me more aware of my limits, and also helped me understand like more of what I needed to be doing for myself. So it's like, maybe we don't have proper boundaries for like being able to say no to people, and being able to like, and not in a rude way, but it's like if an idea from my community comes through, I mean, it's like I have to be realistic. Excuse me. I have to be realistic and understand that I can't fulfill everyone's wishes. I can't do everything that everybody wants. So that period of my life, being a Roblox streamer and everything that came along with it, experiencing all of that and experiencing the burnout on top of it and trying to do all of those things for my community because I wanted my community to be happy, it did highlight some things about myself that was like, okay, maybe we need to work on this. Maybe we're feeling so burnt out, and maybe we're feeling like, maybe we're like crying after our streams, and like maybe we're giving out too much of our energy. But it was at a time in my life where like I was still exploring those kinds of concepts. I didn't really understand what it even meant to set boundaries for myself. I think around then I was like just starting to learn about those things. But it helped me understand more of what it is that it just helped me get a bit closer to myself. Helped me learn a bit more about me. And I am so grateful, always grateful for my little corner on Twitch and the little community that we built. We were called the PEEP community, PEEP. And I look back on that brief period of my life as a Roblox streamer with just such love, because it was a lot of fun. And I got to know a lot of brilliant kids too, and adults, and it kind of was a huge influence on like where I'm moving in my life today. And I love that. I love that it's just like, I don't know that they'll ever realize how much they impacted my life, which is fine. That's completely fine. Like I just, because like now my life, I'm moving in a direction where I'm going to be going to school for being like, my goal is to be a school counselor. Like I want to help children. I want to help youth. And I would have never discovered, excuse me. I don't think I ever would have, maybe I would have discovered it in a different way than being a Roblox streamer. Maybe I would have discovered this kind of, I don't want to say yearning, but it's just like this, and like my therapist calls it a calling. I don't feel comfortable calling it a calling either. I don't know. I just have this pull to work with helping youth, to work with helping children. And maybe I would have discovered that pull in a different way. But the fact that I was a Roblox streamer and I got to connect with so many of these kids on my stream who and it was like a lot of just like regulars. So a lot of them just like hung out with me every single week, every single stream. A lot of them were coming back time and time and again. And so it's like I kind of got to know them, not on a personal level, but with our therapy streams, quote unquote therapy streams. Like I got a peek into these kids' lives and like the difficulties that children these days are going through. And just the fact that I would have these thoughts of like, these kids are literally just coming online to play games with this other, like this community of this online community that I've kind of cultivated in this corner of Twitch. And it was just like the fact that they're like coming back every single stream and they're having fun, and like, but it was also this like sad thing that I would think about of like, do they not have friends to play with? Like, is this, but also it's like, I'm sure some of them did, but it's also just like, is this what they're doing? Like, where are their parents around this time? Like after school, and like, are they just sitting alone in their room on their device, hanging out with me and the other kids that are in my chat doing the same thing? Like there was this sense of just like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so glad that we're all here having fun together. But as soon as this stream is over, it's just like, then what? Are you just still sitting alone in your room on a game, just like by yourself? And like, and I think I connected with a lot of them so well because and I say connected with them, like I connected streamer to viewer, but because they were children and kind of like in that circumstance of just playing games in their room by themselves and like whatever. And like, I'm not trying to paint out their whole lives because I don't know their whole life, but I think I could relate to that feeling of seeking community and seeking some kind of connection. And if I found that online, like, okay, like that would be enough to get me by for the day. I think I could relate to that because that's kind of how I was as a kid. I've always loved technology, but yeah, I did kind of the same thing, but back in my day, it was a little bit different. We didn't necessarily have as much online connection as we do now. We still did have it back then, but it wasn't like what it is now. So I related to that of just like, maybe these kids felt alone and maybe my stream helped them feel less like that. And if I was able to help them feel less alone, like that's enough for me. Like, and then even on top of that, it's like we all had fun and it was a really cool experience and it's impacted me more than they'll ever know. Even though I've told them so many times, like, I'm so thankful for this community, so grateful for this community. And walking away from it was hard. Like, ending it was tough because it was just like, there were several moments of just, I'm going to keep trying. And I did try. But at some point it was like, okay, this just isn't a priority anymore. And I'm sorry. Like, I've got to move on from this. So, but yeah. Well, I said more on that than I thought I was going to say, but that's okay. That's what the bedside table is all about. We start talking about one thing and then suddenly we're talking about 20 different things. But they all have everything that I talk about here on the bedside table is just, I've said this before, but like, you guys are honestly getting a peek every single week, every single episode, every single week that I am here. I missed 1 week. Ellie, I missed 1 week. It's fine. You missed 1 week. It's okay. My brain likes to be like, yeah, well, if you're here for the week. I missed 1 week. It's not a huge deal. It's okay. We're still here. We're staying consistent. We're still showing up. I think that's one of the really important parts of this project for me. This podcast is like, this is something that I do feel drawn to stay consistent with because it helps me. It helps me, so I'm hoping it helps some of you. And also I like the idea that I'm putting something out into the world that I not only feel confident in putting out, because it's taken me a long time to get there. It's taken me a long time to feel confident putting something out there and feeling good about it. So there's that. But it's also like, I feel good knowing that maybe what I'm putting out there is making somebody think a little differently. And it's not like I'm trying to get into your head or brainwash you by any means. It's just like, if something I say helps you think about a situation in your life a little bit differently in a way that's like beneficial for you, that's awesome. Like, if I can help you maybe get past a little roadblock in your mind of like, oh, I didn't think about it like this, or, oh yeah, I'm struggling with this too, and maybe I should try that. And like, oh, cool, that thing that she said, like, I kind of resonate with that, and maybe that's, yeah, maybe I can think about it like that. Or if it leads you to your own different thoughts of just like, oh, if you start thinking about something a little differently, I've noticed that sometimes it'll open up something else in your brain to be like, oh, I never thought about it like this either, or like this, and like, oh, I didn't even think about this. Yeah. I don't know if that made sense, but if what I'm putting out there is making you think a little different in a way that's helpful, that's cool. I like knowing that. So, that's the episode, guys. That's episode 15 and I feel good about it. So like I was saying, it's just like I feel back in the groove. And I think it just took a little adjusting, especially being in the new space. Because just even little changes, like moving from one side of the bed to the other and having to set up the decorations a little differently. It's like even that takes adjusting too. So I'll leave you with this. If you're adjusting to some things in your life, if you've had a couple of little changes here, some minor changes, or if you've had some big changes, like really think about like how the minor changes take quite a bit of adjusting. So, some big changes, even medium changes, are probably going to take a good amount of adjusting, and it's going to take some time. So give yourself some compassion when it comes to adjusting to newness in your life or to changes in your life, no matter how small they may seem. Don't underestimate the fact that it's going to take some adjusting. Any kind of change is going to take at least a little bit of adjusting. So give yourself some grace if you're in an adjustment period, such as myself. And thank you for joining me for the bedside for another episode of the Bedside Table. Again, my socials are in the description every single week. So give me a follow. You can follow me. I have my socials, my personal socials listed in there, and you can also follow the podcast. I'd love for you to follow both, because both. Yeah, because I talk about my life and I post clips from the pod, and yeah, it's fun. And it's cool to see what kind of community I'm building. It's a small community, but I'm cool with that. Let's build ourselves a little bedside table community. Let's do it. Let's all get comfy and cozy and vulnerable, and yeah, let's all start thinking a little differently in ways that help us. Okay, I'm gonna go make breakfast and then make my list for the Ivy Lee method. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Have a fabulous day or evening, wherever you are. Bye.